Hollywood uses Unreal Engine in a huge way. Cloud-based editing and animation tools level up, and a new relighting tool gives images an instant makeover. It's Motion Mondays. Let's dive in. First, a little trivia. What famous beloved actor is also a 3D animator and has done VFX work for broadcast TV? Stick around until the end to find out and see if you can get this one. Imaginary Forces just dropped an insanely cool title sequence for Apple TV's Dark Matter. It's based on the book by Blake Crouch, one of my favorite authors. I thought the whole show was great, but the opening title sequence is something else. As you'd expect from Imaginary Forces, it's beautiful. What makes this so special? Well, it's all one continuous shot, which is basically motion design on hard mode. A tiny timing change often means re-rendering the whole thing. If you've ever tried to do a project that way, you know it's no joke. The textures, lighting, and symbolism are on point with clever references that really click after you've watched the show. The story behind the making of this piece is also pretty wild. You can read about it in this great motionographer article. The link will be in the description. They swapped music tracks multiple times. They completely abandoned the first edit and reimagined the whole concept. Originally, it wasn't a single camera move piece. It had edits, but after essentially completing it, they looked at it and said, you know what? This would be better as one continuous shot. So they redid the whole thing. It's crazy, but if you've been in this industry long enough, you've probably had to do something similar. It's painful, but in this case, it clearly paid off. Check out Motionographer's behind the scenes article for all the details, and if you want more insights into how Imaginary Forces consistently pulls off such amazing work, watch our interview with Karen Fong on this channel. There's a motion design festival happening in Berlin this August. If you need an excuse to hang out in one of my favorite cities, here it is. The Forward Festival is going down on August 29th and 30th. The festival spans 2 days, 3 stages, and over 40 top creatives from around the world. The speaker lineup is stacked. You've got Yuko Shimizu, Stefan Sagmeister, Kelly Anna, and more. There will be talks, workshops, interactive discussions, and of course, a chance to connect with fellow artists. Check out all the details on their website. And by the way, did you hear about the sick man walking down a side street to get a sausage in Berlin? He took a turn for the worst. Yes, sausage jokes. That's where we're at now. But if you're nowhere near Germany, don't worry. The site Neon Moray has put together a pretty comprehensive list of animation and motion design conferences for 2024. Some have already happened, but there are plenty still coming up. It's a great way to find inspiration, whether it's just down the road or an excuse to travel halfway across the globe. Remember, these events aren't just about the speakers and the workshops. They're about connecting with your tribe, finding potential collaborators, and maybe, if you're lucky, discovering an elusive open bar. So check out the list, see if there's anything near you. All right, brace yourselves for a nostalgia bomb with a side of AI controversy. Toys R Us is trying to make a comeback. If you didn't grow up in the US, it's hard to overstate just how important Toys R Us felt to kids in the 80s and 90s. It was the largest toy store chain in the country, but in recent years, they had to file for bankruptcy and close all their stores. So now they're reinventing themselves as an online brand. To capitalize on millennial nostalgia, they've put out a brand film. But here's the kicker. It was created using Sora, OpenAI's text-to-video model. I've been digging for more info on how this was made. It's clear there's some compositing involved. This definitely isn't raw Sora output, but details are scarce, and it almost feels a little bit like a publicity stunt to leverage the AI controversy for attention. Now, the reaction? Well, it won't surprise you to hear that it's been mixed, to say the least. Chad Ashley from Grayscale Gorilla nailed it when he said it's objectively bad. With that uncanny AI feel, almost every shot has that weird off-putting quality that screams AI generated. So here's the thing, Sora is one of the most advanced video models on Earth right now. If this is the best that creative, talented people could come up with using it, we're still a very long way from these tools being truly directable for high-end production. It's a reminder that the practical utility of many AI tools is far less powerful than the hype might lead you to believe. Check out the ad, read the discussions, and form your own opinion. It's a fascinating glimpse into the current state of AI in creative fields, and a reminder that while the technology is advancing rapidly, it's not quite ready to replace human creativity just yet. Epic, the makers of Unreal Engine, just dropped a sweet update to their Reality Scan app. Version 1.5 is here, and it's packing some serious improvements. We're talking faster performance, slick UI updates, and even more powerful 3D scanning capabilities. For those who aren't familiar, Reality Scan is a free photogrammetry app for iPhones and Android phones. It lets you capture incredibly detailed, textured 3D models from the real world using just your smartphone. And like all apps Epic makes, up to a certain business size, it's totally free. Here's how it works. You scan any object with your phone or tablet, guided by some nifty augmented reality overlays that make it super intuitive. Take a bunch of photos from different angles, and reality capture works its magic, turning those 2D images into a highly detailed 3D model. When you're done, you can preview your creation right on the device and export it for use in Unreal Engine or your 3D package of choice. This tool is very useful for anyone working in 3D, from game developers and VFX artists to architects and product designers. So if you need a hyper-realistic tree for your environment, you can scan one in your backyard. Head over to Epic's website, download Reality Scan 1.5, and start experimenting. Our summer 2024 session at School of Motion kicks off in just 1 week on July 8th. It's going to be an amazing session, and you've still got time to get in on the action. We've got a full lineup of interactive classes covering everything from After Effects to Cinema 4D, animation principles, design fundamentals, 3D basics, cinematography, visual effects, expressions. You name it, we probably have it. And these are not your typical online courses. They're hands-on, intensive learning experiences designed to level up your skills fast. Here's what sets us apart. You get unlimited critique on your coursework. That means personalized feedback from industry pros who really know what they're talking about. It's kind of like having a mentor right there with you, guiding you every step of the way. And when you complete the course, you'll walk away with a verified credential that tells potential clients and employers that you've got the chops. In addition to the amazing lessons and fun exercises, you also get access to our incredible community. We're talking monthly live streams, an engaged student community, and the chance to connect with fellow motion designers from all around the world. It's a whole ecosystem designed to support your growth as a creative professional. Spots are filling up fast, so if you've been thinking about taking your motion design skills to the next level, now's the time to act. Head over to schoolmotion.com to check out all the details and sign up for our summer session. We can't wait to see you in class. Cloud-based animation app Fable recently announced 4 new features that are turning heads in the motion design world. And here's the kicker. They're not animation features. They're compositing tools. I kind of think that's a big deal. See, After Effects has long been the Swiss Army knife of our industry, combining powerful animation tools with robust compositing capabilities. It's why After Effects is the go-to for so many of us. And now, Fable is adding features that enable similar capabilities. They've added Luma masking, or as After Effects users call it, Luma mats, a keying tool, and more. And they're doing it all in the cloud with native Lottie exports and a toolset optimized for shipping animation to the web very quickly. I think it's really impressive how Fable has been steadily improving their product, adding features and listening to user feedback. And if you're an After Effects animator, you can literally open it up and just start using it. It's very intuitive and easy to figure out. So head to fable.app, give it a spin, and let us know what you think in the comments. Could this be the future of motion design? Only time will tell, but I think Fable is definitely an app to watch. Speaking of cloud-based tools, Ozone has finally entered beta. Now, I first heard about this tool because of the very cool brand film that they put out, done by our friends at Revi Studio. Ozone is a cloud-based video editing app, and it looks like it's attempting to subvert a lot of the conventions of typical video editing software. Everything's cloud-based, which means, according to Ozone, no lag, smooth playback from the cloud, and no need for hefty hard drives. Work from anywhere, collaborate on edits in real time. It's the kind of flexibility that modern creators dream of. They're also, of course, leaning heavily into AI with features like auto captioning, AI-enhanced editing tools for audio improvement, transcription, translation, automatic silence removal, and audio syncing. It's like having a super smart assistant right there in your editing suite. Now, I'm personally more excited about the cloud-based aspect than the AI bells and whistles. As someone who deals with coordinating edits across different geographies every single day at School of Motion, I could tell you a truly cloud-based editing platform with cloud-based storage could solve a lot of problems if it works well. Ozone is offering a free trial, so head to ozone.pro and give it a whirl. Who knows, it might just be the answer to our editing prayers. Let us know what you think in the comments. Robert Zemeckis, the legendary director behind classics like Forrest Gump, it's one of my favorite movies, has a new movie coming out in November called Here. He's teamed up again with Tom Hanks, and I'm sure the movie's going to be great, but the real story is the technology they're using to produce it. The movie has a unique visual device. The camera doesn't move throughout the entire film. It doesn't zoom, it doesn't turn, it just sits there watching over a century of life unfold in one American living room. You can get a sense of what this feels like in the trailer, which also shows off some pretty wild de-aging effects on stars Tom Hanks and Robin Wright. I don't think Robin Wright actually ages, but Tom Hanks looks very young in this. But here's where it gets really interesting. They shot this film using virtual production techniques. The living room set is real, but everything outside, that's all created and controlled using a huge LED screen similar to what you'd see on the set of The Mandalorian. The virtual production was handled by DNEG 360, and this type of production is becoming increasingly popular in Hollywood. Why? Because while it requires more setup and pre-production, it saves a ton of headaches in post. You get more accurate lighting and reflections on your talent right from the get-go. Plus, actors love it because they're not just staring at a green screen. They can actually see and interact with a detailed visualization of their environment. This is a clear sign that virtual production has gone mainstream in Hollywood. So if you're a motion designer or a VFX artist, it might be a good time to give Unreal a look. We've got a legal showdown brewing in the world of AI-generated music. US record labels are suing AI music generators Suno and Udio. What does this have to do with motion design? Well, let me explain. First off, these AI song generators are very impressive. They can create absurdly catchy tunes. It almost makes me mad how catchy they can be. Check out this song that someone sent my little brother on his birthday last week. Blazing through the black night sky, stars whisper, secret shadows hide. Adam's birthday void, cosmic ride, anomalies unseen they try to find. I non-ironically like this song. But here's the million-dollar question, or in this case, the potentially billions-dollar question. Where did the data come from to train these models? Well, you know where it came from. Copyrighted music. Now, I've got some friends in the music industry, and let me tell you, music industry lawyers do not mess around. This could be the mother of all lawsuits. The plaintiffs are asking for damages of up to $150,000 per work infringed. And when you consider how much data it takes to train these models, it's a lot of zeros. The case could set a massive precedent, not just for the music industry, but for visual AI models like Sora, Midjourney, and DALL-E too. We might see partnerships forming between AI companies and copyright holders, where the original creators get paid for the use of their IP in training these models, which is obviously a good thing. The legal waters are still very, very murky here. Using a generative AI tool to create something too similar to an existing work is already considered copyright infringement. But the use of the tools themselves, that's still in legal limbo. So we'll keep an eye on this one for you. It could reshape the entire landscape of AI-generated content across all creative industries. Artlist, the company mostly known for providing stock for video editors, has just released a voiceover tool that uses generative AI to create voiceover tracks for any script. Now, this is an area I actually know something about. Some of you may know that I was a voiceover artist for many years. I had an agent and everything, so I can tell you the quality of the voices you're getting from these voice generator tools is pretty good, but the quality of the performances you're getting, no bueno. You're really going to need the ability to direct them at a level that doesn't currently exist before they're usable for really high-end stuff. For low-end stuff, though, this is already pretty disruptive. Artlist has created a bunch of different voice models that you can preview on their website. They've got everything from news anchor voices to more casual conversational tones and a good mix of male and female voice talent. You can test them out with a short sample for free. Check out these examples I made.
Gonna take a lot to drag me away from you, bruh? Sigma.
Did you know that Cinema 4D artists are 47% more attractive than Blender users? It's science, duh. Check out Cinema 4D Basecamp if you want to be slay this summer.
So here's my take. While this technology is cool, the inflection of these voices is still very flat. I can't imagine using this for anything I really cared about yet. However, I've heard that OpenAI has been working on some voice models that can emote and maybe even be directable, so we might not be too far off from being able to license and pay for Christopher Walken's voice for your explainer video, which honestly I'd love to do.
I gotta have more cowbell, baby.
Now, this tech will ruffle some feathers, especially for working VO artists, but for young creators working on personal projects, this could be amazing. Professional quality voiceover from good actors at a fraction of the cost. I don't know, I think that could be pretty cool. So check out Artlist's voiceover tool. It's very early days, still pretty rough, but it's a glimpse into what the future of voiceover might look like, and I'm dying to know what you all think of this, so please leave a comment. Time for our School Motion Students of the Week. First up, we've got Mick Palazzisi, and you wanna know something cool about Mick? Mick just finished middle school 3 years ago. Seriously. He told us, I'm a motion student. I finished middle school 3 years ago, and since then I've homeschooled thanks to platforms like Coursera, Skillshare, which is where he met one of our instructors, Jake Bartlett, LinkedIn Learning, and more recently, School Motion. Mick is taking Explainer Camp and recently posted his final project. Let's just say I was totally blown away. He was provided with a script, some brand elements, and a human voiceover track that we captured for the course. When I saw his work, I was impressed, and then when I found out how young Mick was, I almost fell over. So Mick, if you're watching this, keep it up. You're gonna be a killer when you're my age, which is a very long way off for you. Our second student of the week is Eva Hanazader, who is taking illustration for motion. For the last 10 years, she's been working as a graphic designer and team leader, mostly on high quality printed products and in the field of organizing and supervising photo shoots and editing. Eva's based in Austria, and her set of boards for her final project are simply gorgeous. You can see a lot of the principles taught in the course evident in these boards. There's abstraction, playing with perspective, some really cool character designs, great shading and texturing. You could totally imagine this being animated into a really cool piece. It always makes me so happy to see our students doing such incredible work. And the work that you do in these classes often becomes portfolio pieces that hopefully help you actually get more work. So congrats to both of you. We'll be keeping our eye out for you in the future. So this isn't like a huge news story, but I wanted to call it out because a lot of us who do motion design every day forget about sites like Motion Array. They recently redesigned their entire site, making it a little bit easier to navigate and find things you're looking for. If you haven't been to the site in a while, you might not realize just how enormous their library is. They not only offer stock and templates for motion designers and video editors, but they also offer plugins, music, sound effects, presets, and more. Now, I know a lot of people watching this are generally doing bespoke design and animation for their clients. But as I've been talking about for the past couple of years, the trend seems to be trying to do great work, but faster and more efficiently. And one of the ways you can do that is by leveraging pre-existing elements, even ones that are animated. This may not always be as satisfying to us motion designers, but when someone's paying you money and it's their thing, your job is to do what's best for the project. And in some cases, that's going to mean leveraging pre-existing elements. And Motion Array has some very cool ones, like this pack of animated collage hands, or this pack of collage punk letters. Little things like this might just spur new ideas, and they also let you create projects much easier. These wouldn't be too difficult to create yourself, but if you're working really quickly and you need something like this, you could just use this and save some time. So this is your reminder that sites like Motion Array exist. Go check out the newly redesigned Motion Array site and see if maybe some of what they offer is useful to you. Let's show off some more insane work here. This popped up on my feed recently. It's not a new piece, it's about 6 months old, but it's from one of my favorite studios that are known for their 3D work, Already Been Chewed. There's a long history in motion design of shoe spots being showcases for studios to kind of show off their insane technical chops. And over the last few years, Already Been Chewed has been getting better and better and better. Their style reminds me a lot of Tendril and Man vs. Machine, two of my favorite studios known for their 3D work. And one of the things I really love about this spot is that there's moments in it where I look at it and I honestly don't know how they pulled it off. When I was coming up in the industry, one of my favorite things to do was to find work, especially from studios like Psyop and Brand New School and Digital Kitchen, where they were playing with new 3D techniques that I'd never seen before, and I would try to figure out how they did it. And back then, it was much harder to find out how someone actually pulled these things off. After being in this industry for so long now, I can almost always look at a piece of work, and even if I don't have the ability to do it myself, I know how it was done. And looking at this spot, there are a few moments here where I really have no idea how they pulled this stuff off. Unless maybe it was just a lot of really difficult brute force Houdini work. There's a lot of cloth simulations in here, and that stuff is so hard to art direct. And they're just masters of it. The pacing, the edits, the camera moves, everything just works. So if you're not familiar with Already Been Chewed, go check them out. Incredible studio, and make sure that you also check out this pretty interesting behind the scenes video that they posted about this, showing off some of the play blasts, some of the R&D tests that they did while developing it. It'll give you a little bit of insight into how they pulled off this technical and creative marvel. Every year, Figma hosts a huge convention called Config. It's sort of like their Adobe Max. They have speakers, workshops, big presentations, and thousands of designers from all over the world show up and attend. They always release a bunch of new features around this time, and this year is no different. Now, more and more motion designers are using Figma as a design tool. You don't really animate in it, but as a design tool, it's awesome. It's primarily aimed at interface designers, so UI, UX, web designers, that sort of thing, but its tool set just keeps getting better and better. And I believe that the intersection of motion and web and product design is just going to grow and grow and grow over the next coming years, especially with tools like Rive, which I know I should shut up about, but I can't. There were a few big product announcements. First of all, Figma redesigned their UI to look more modern, be a little bit more flexible, and to make the canvas more of the hero and get the tools kind of out of the way until you need them. One huge piece of news is that they launched a whole new product called Figma Slides. A lot of designers are already creating pitch decks and things like that in Figma because there's a presentation tool inside of it, but it's not really optimized for pitches and things like that. Figma Slides is Figma's answer to this. With Slides, you can use all the Figma design tools to create and then present slides to your team or clients. And so if you're already using Figma, this is a natural place to go. But here's where it gets interesting. They also announced Figma AI. Now, before you roll your eyes, hear me out. They're using AI in some pretty clever ways. Visual search to help you find layers in enormous files. Well, that's useful. AI helping you name your layers. Yes. They're also introducing AI-assisted prototyping where you can generate designs from text prompts. Now, Figma's been clear that these features are powered by third-party AI models and aren't trained on private Figma files or customer data. Teams can opt in if they want their work to help train the AI. Of course, there's been some backlash from the community about the use of AI, but generally it seems a lot less intense than what we've seen with Adobe's AI announcements. Figma's been crushing it these past few years, and it just keeps getting better and better. So if you're a motion designer working on UI or product design, it's definitely worth checking out. Last but not least, let's talk about Magnific. You might know them for their AI-powered image upscaling tool, but they've just launched something called Relight that's really awesome. Here's how it works. You upload an image with a subject, and then you can use a text prompt, a reference image, or a light map to replace the background. But here's the kicker. Relight doesn't just cut out your subject and slap it on a new background. It completely changes the lighting of the foreground to match the new scene. Now, it does often turn you into a bit of a bizarro demon version of yourself. AI clearly still struggles with eyes. But for concept artists, photo bashers, or anyone working on designs where you need to combine assets with different lighting, this tool could be so useful. It works incredibly fast, and while it does some weird things to human faces, the lighting differences are drastic while maintaining most of the important details in the image. For product photography, this is, cliche alert, game-changing. I know, I hate that phrase too. But you can take a standard photo on a plain background and put it on a tropical island if you want. Magnific's founder, Javi Lopez, has been showcasing some pretty wild examples on social media. So if you haven't played around with Magnific yet, maybe the Relight tool is a good excuse to dip your toes in. And that is a wrap for this week's Motion Mondays. The answer to the trivia question I mentioned at the top, believe it or not, is Dick Van Dyke. Yes, apparently this legend uses Lightwave 3D and has been dabbling in visual effects since he bought a Commodore Amiga in 1991. And rumor has it, he even did some of the compositing in Diagnosis Murder, which he started, so who knew? Remember, our classes start in just 1 week. On Monday, July 8th, head to schoolofmotion.com for all the details and to sign up for our summer session. Can't wait to see you in class.